Before we get started, check out the description to find out how you can win a Nano Ledger S worth $150. Despite being hyped as digital gold, cryptocurrencies have repeatedly failed to demonstrate either safe haven or inflation combating properties when faced with actual market volatility or the first real bout of serious inflation in developed markets. So, have we been lied to about crypto? Charles Hoskinson has some very shocking details to say about this. In an interview with MarketWatch, a crypto expert said, "Sometimes you want to buy coins like Shiba Inu, you want to buy Dogecoin. People tell you, no, don't buy that. Those are bad products and you can lose the money. But then you trusted those exchanges. You lost not only one coin, but all the money there." With the crash of cryptocurrency, several companies like Voyager and Celsius Network that emerged during the go-go years to offer digital currency investors with lightly regulated financial and banking services have ultimately collapsed. As Bitcoin traded lower from the all-time high, smaller coins have tumbled even more. CryptoLender, which said that it had more than 1.7 million customers, stopped all customer withdrawals in June and filed for bankruptcy protection. Currently, Celsius customers are faced with being unsecured creditors in federal bankruptcy court in New York. Digital asset exchange CoinFlex also paused customer withdrawals. These horrific failures have shaken investor confidence in many firms that underpin a nascent industry, which has attracted huge capital inflows. "We've been lied to," is what's ringing in most investors' heads. Cryptocurrencies have turned out to be a massive speculative bubble that ends up hurting many naive investors. Indeed, many crypto fortunes have already disappeared with the recent plunge in prices. Cryptocurrencies are not backed by anything other than the faith of people who own them. Some cryptocurrencies have been concluded as securities as well. Michael Saylor, co-founder, chairman, and CEO of NASDAQ-listed business intelligence company MicroStrategy, said that it is pretty obvious that ADA, the native token of Cardano, is a security. It is worth recalling that on the 11th of August of 2020, MicroStrategy announced through a press release that it had purchased 21,454 bitcoins at an aggregate purchase price of $250 million to use as a primary treasury reserve asset. At the time, he said, "Our decision to invest in Bitcoin at this time was driven in part by a confluence of macro factors affecting the economic and business landscape that we believe is creating long-term risk for our corporate treasury program, risk that should be addressed proactively." Since then, MicroStrategy has continued to accumulate Bitcoin, and its CEO became one of Bitcoin's most vocal advocates. On July 7th, MicroStrategy CEO made his comments during an interview with the crypto market commentary show Altcoin Daily. He explained his belief that native tokens of proof-of-stake networks are securities and are therefore very risky. In comparison, Saylor argued that Bitcoin is a digital commodity and could be treated differently from a proof-of-stake coin such as Cardano ADA. As a matter of fact, he said, "The token is a liability if it is not a commodity. And so fundamentally, this all comes down to the issue of, can you establish your network as a commodity network? To be a commodity network, there has to be no issuer, no initial coin offering, no central organization. And if you study the history of Cardano, it is pretty obvious that it's a security. It checks all the boxes. So I don't know how you actually get around intellectually to convince yourself that it's anything other than a security." Michael Saylor's claims about Cardano are proof that crypto is just filled with lies and unnecessary hype. But if this keeps going on, the crypto industry might end up disappearing into thin air. Cryptocurrency traders have been put on notice that the SEC considers a range of widely traded digital assets to be securities, a position that could impose regulatory requirements that many boosters say could be crippling. However, figuring out what does or does not make a coin a security is a hard nut to crack. Gary Gensler and his Trump-era predecessor Jay Clayton have said that many digital assets have the hallmarks of securities. Gensler spent the past year warning that the agency was planning to take a hard line in enforcing its rule over those tokens. Anxieties among crypto traders shot up when the market regulator took a step in late July of identifying 9 crypto assets that could be considered securities, and this incident was related to an insider trading case. So many investors have sold their coins because they could not understand the crypto industry stance. When will the industry stop thriving on a pack of lies? Various controversies about cryptocurrencies have filled the air, and investors don't know what to believe anymore. The founder of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, entered into a controversy with Bitcoin maximalists, and in particular with who is considered to be the leading exponent of this movement, Michael Saylor. Saylor allegedly called Ethereum unethical during an interview. Saylor, who is most likely in great difficulty because of Bitcoin's large losses, with some rumors suggesting that it's causing $1 billion of loss to his funds, is increasingly trying to establish Bitcoin as the only pure cryptocurrency in the market. In April, Buterin wrote a lengthy post on his website specifically to comment on the so-called Bitcoin maximalists and their ideas about the blockchain of cryptocurrencies. Many people with the blockchain, not Bitcoin, persuasion argues that cryptocurrency is the first application of blockchains, but it's a very boring one, and the true potential of blockchains lies in bigger, more exciting things, he wrote. According to the Ethereum founder, Bitcoin is a simple application, and therefore is not capable of having any application other than as a store of value, especially to prevent anything from going wrong, implying that the blockchain is much more complex and innovative. Bitcoin really values being simple, and particularly having low technical complexity, to reduce the chance that something will go wrong. And as a result, it doesn't want to add the more complicated features and opcodes that are necessary to be able to support more complicated smart contracts like in Ethereum. During Saylor's lengthy video, which he called Ethereum a Scam, he spelled out what Bitcoin represents to him for the cryptocurrency industry. And as you can tell, I think Bitcoin is economically, technically, and ethically sound. You have got a million reasons why. We could talk about it for thousands of hours, and the simple thing to do is just use Bitcoin as your token and then build on top of that monetary protocol and on top of that monetary asset. But if you are not going to do that, you definitely have to think long and hard about the economic, ethical, and technical implications of what you are doing, he said. Taking note of Ethereum, Saylor expressed his doubts about its continued need for new updates, such as the merge. Technically sound means I need to see the protocol function for that thing after about 5 to 10 years. So we don't know that either, right? Because if you're hard forking and changing it every time you do a big upgrade, you introduce new attack surfaces. However, the crypto market has a track record of seeing explosive growth even after leaving a trail of dramatic drawdowns in valuation. Cryptocurrencies may or may not preserve as speculative investment vehicles, but they are capable of triggering transformative changes to money and finance. Cardano is being regarded as a security discouraged many of its investors, but the founder Charles Hoskinson was quick to step into the situation. In response to Michael Saylor's assertions that ADA was a security, Hoskinson likened Saylor to Tone Vays in the current market environment during an AMA session on July 15th. Vays gained notoriety by deeming any digital asset other than Bitcoin a hoax. Charles Hoskinson says that Cardano offers greater usefulness than Bitcoin does. According to him, Bitcoin's primary function is to serve as a store of value. He claimed that those who acquire ADA are not simply speculating like many Bitcoin investors, but are using the tokens to fund different initiatives. It also puzzled him that Saylor would refer to a crypto asset with more applications than Bitcoin as a security, but refused to do the same for it. According to Hoskinson, arguing with Saylor about ADA would be meaningless, since the most difficult, toxic, and useless people to engage with are Bitcoin maximalists, as we all know. Michael Saylor has become something like a Bitcoin preacher, spouting religiously fervent praise. Even as he stepped down as MicroStrategy CEO, some observers initially predicted that the Bitcoin buying was over, but they learned that that was not the case. Saylor intends to go even deeper now that he is the executive chairman. In my next job, I intend to focus more on Bitcoin, Saylor tweeted. For now, cryptocurrency has been restricted to individual preferences and beliefs, and more maximalists will rise. So, there are necessarily no lies about crypto, but diverse perspectives. But what are your thoughts on this? Let us have them in the comment section below. We'll see you in the next video, but before then, please check out our other videos to find out how Cardano is living up to the dream of being the Ethereum killer. And as always, make sure you click on the subscribe and notification buttons.